Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
That guy.
Hello.
Over there.
Hello. What'd you call him?
That guy.
Oh, that guy. Sorry.
What'd you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Bad guy.
Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to Hindsight is Horrifying. We're back after
like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a
2
while.
weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
What,
Yeah.
Arnold? 2 weeks. That was a total recall for all of you guys out there in podcast land.
Our loyal fans who have been with us since the beginning. We're very nearly the beginning. That was an audio only podcast, wasn't it? We didn't
have viewers back
Yeah, we
then.
didn't have
Just
people couldn't
listeners.
see our beautiful faces back then.
Let's find out.
Yeah, that was old. But we are back after a reasonable delay.
We don't even remember. Like, who cares?
Time passes, it's just how it goes these days. But we are back, and we've decided to go back to the greatest decade in movie history. This is actually Mr. Brown's pick this week. Mr. Brown, why
Yes.
don't you tell us what you've brought the audience?
Well, I brought the audience in terms of a film as the classic Bill Murray, Harold Ramis film from 1981, Stripes. And then I brought the audience some old wartime
His
memorabilia
collection.
from when I was in the Navy doing stripes myself. Here's my beret when I was a Navy SEAL, But
Now, were you Cruiser or Psycho or
I was more
or were you
Cruiser.
the black guy?
no, I was definitely
Hold
more.
on.
More. It's like you did when you got with that cow. I was from Central PA. There were a lot of farms.
Yeah.
We did experimental things.
Have you been cow tipping?
No.
Okay.
No.
all
Or is
right.
that what they call it these
Do
days?
you know anyone who's been cow tipping?
No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It's legendary where I come from, but I never did it myself.
Never really understood the fun in that.
No, I don't.
Making
either.
a cow fall over.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You have
seem
to be starved for entertainment. I would
you
imagine.
must, yeah. You've already been with your sisters and cousins enough, and now it's
Now you're trying something in the bovine community.
moving out, branching out to the bovine areas,
Boning out, as it were.
Yes, we are of course talking about a movie directed by
Ivan Reitman.
the now late
Yeah.
Ivan Reitman, who has departed us. It's such a bummer, because
It
Ivan
is.
Reitman was just the guy knew comedy.
Oh my
did.
God! Didn't he ever?
He knew
Yeah.
comedy so well that the part of this movie that nobody likes, which is the last third of the movie, he didn't like either. So he really did know comedy.
Well, it's because it suddenly turns into a different movie.
Yeah.
Like and
it
we
turns
can
into
get to
Spies
that.
Like Us. Yeah.
Yeah, we can get to that. But so I guess we should start with the synopsis, which is a lazy New York cabbie, Bill Murray, quits his job and convinces his bored buddy, Harold Ramis, that they should join the army.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
it.
That's the movie.
Thank you,
And then
sir.
and then
Such a gentleman.
hilarity ensues.
Yes, and did you guys know that this was originally written to be a Cheech and Chong movie?
That's
Shocking.
that makes the LSD and some of the because there's a lot of drug references.
Well,
in
and
the
about
movie.
10 minutes in, I was like, I know exactly who Cheech would have been and who Chong would have been. Even though I've literally never seen a Cheech and Chong movie, the characters were pretty obvious as to who would have played whom.
But thank God it didn't happen, because if not for this movie,
There'd be no Ghostbusters.
no Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and how different would the world be if we didn't have Ghostbusters to entertain us?
I just rewatched it.
Oh, it's
It
like
was
it's one of the best
awesome.
movies ever
Yes.
made. Yeah.
I need to see the new one. But and it's funny that you say that but for this movie there would be no Ghostbusters because Harold Ramis almost wasn't in this movie.
Right.
Columbia
Yeah.
didn't want him involved, and who was it? It was
Bill Murray.
No.
Oh.
Bill Murray wanted him. So with the knowledge that the studio didn't want him and more comfortable with writing at that point than with acting, Ramis was reluctant to play Russell. He even had Dennis Quaid, PJ Soul's husband at the time, read for his part. Bill Murray stepped in and insisted that he only wanted to work with Ramis, and that's according to
PJ
Mental
Soul,
Floss.
who played the MP. I can't remember her name.
The blonde, hot MP.
the not Sean Young MP.
Right.
let's
That's all I
see.
could. I didn't
Yeah.
know that she didn't
Yeah.
do anything else.
Stella.
Yeah, Stella. Yeah.
She was pretty.
She was pretty. This
That's
movie.
why Sean Young was cast as the other MP. It wasn't
Yeah.
because of her acting chops, because this was her first foray into acting, I believe, unless my notes are lying to me.
It's close to it, if not the very
Well,
first.
she started out
Yeah.
as a dancer, and then she was a model, and because of her mom's
Wasn't
connection,
she
she
in
got into
Blade Runner?
acting.
Yeah, she was in Blade Runner.
Yes,
Sean,
It
you
was
look
one
at,
of her first forays.
yeah. If you look at Sean Young, I mean, for me personally, it's the only thing I can think of is it's really such a shame that she is so fucking crazy
Yeah, I thought about that too.
because she is stunning.
Well,
I mean-
I think it really depends on your first experience with Sean Young, because mine was
Ace
Einhorn is
Yeah,
Finkel.
yeah.
Finkel is Einhorn, and Einhorn is a man. So
very
yeah.
progressive movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
very
A lot of people are calling it so homophobic and this phobic and every phobic. Like everybody's really coming down on Ace
Yeah,
Ventura.
the more phobics it is means the funnier it is.
Probably, but that
Let's
might
be honest.
that might be why Jim is inching toward retirement. He mentioned that in the recent past.
Oh no!
Shut up, Jason.
Sorry.
Some of
Yeah.
us are more
What
upset
will I
about this
do
than others.
without Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
Vacuum.
just no. This movie is a great sort of precursor / sassy sister film to Ghostbusters because
Does anybody want coffee?
Yeah. because it's sort of like a raw Ghostbusters
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
It's not there.
It's like a first try.
Yeah, it's
at
like
Ghostbusters.
it's like if the people who made Porky's made Ghostbusters.
You know,
And actually, I think like two of the writers and several of the other people, they are connected to the Meatballs franchise, which was basically Porky's.
Right.
You know,
Now,
it's
have
the
you seen Meatballs?
no.
I heard it did not age well. I have
I've
to
never
watch
even
it
heard
again.
of
Man.
meatballs.
You've never heard of Meatballs?
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh my gosh.
They made, I think, 4 of them.
Who's in
heard of
it?
Bill
Nobody.
Murray.
Well, yeah. Wait. Bill Murray was in. Oh yeah.
Am
he
I
was in-
thinking this is the
No, you're
summer
right.
camp,
No
right?
shit. You're
Meatballs.
right. You're right. I
With
spaced on
Chris
that.
Makepeace from My Bodyguard.
Yeah. Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I was always more of a Porky's fan
Oh, okay.
than a Meatballs fan.
Got
See, I was a
Um,
Porky's baby.
That's when you were born during a Porky's film.
Yet another Office reference that you guys don't get. God.
Conceived during
Porky's.
Okay, yeah, during
Yes,
Porky's.
There
that's what I
you
thought.
go.
Yeah.
And circle hits the square.
Speaking of nudity,
There's lots of it in this
there's
movie.
a lot of this. Now I don't know.
Shock.
Not a
Shocking.
lot.
Well,
There's a
taste.
decent amount.
I
A taste.
Are you going to freeze?
no, I was making sure the subtitles were on. I know it's available on Netflix. I think.
Yes, that's where I watched it.
I got it on Prime, and it's the
Chesticles.
It's the extended cut of
Oh.
Stripes,
Oh,
and I don't
okay.
really remember what in it is new. That's
Well, never having seen Stripes, I don't know if Netflix had the extended version or not.
yes,
It
I
didn't-
don't know. Yeah,
It didn't express it. If it was, it did not express that.
It's like 122 minutes as opposed to 102 minutes or something like that.
Oh, okay, then I think I did see it because I was about 40 minutes in and there was still an hour left.
Okay,
so,
yeah, that was probably
I-
the extended cut.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of nudity and a lot of that classic the 1980s. The filmmakers in the 1980s had an absolute gift for making really, really sexy, not at all sexy. Like,
Elaborate.
well, no, because it's like you see, Bill Murray and her, and it's like she's naked and it's sexy. But for some reason, it really isn't. And
Well,
like
because
the
that's-
mud wrestling scene, which that was literally erotic entertainment in the 1980s, was mud wrestling.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't,
Didn't do it for
I
me.
don't know,
doesn't turn
they-
my crank.
They may well maybe it's about preference, but two, there's also just the commonplace factors. So like for instance, Margot Robbie made the argument in Wolf of Wall Street when she was making that with Leo DiCaprio, because I think she was supposed to be in her underwear when she was in a scene with him at their home in their bedroom, but she was like, no, he's my husband. I'd be naked in front of him. It's not a big deal because we're married and we live in the same house. So
And
she
everyone on the
actually
set,
argued that
everyone on the set
was
went,
like, sure thing, Margot.
That's an You know what? That is a brilliant idea. Let's empower women by adopting this idea that
Swan,
came to
are
us
you
from
sure
a woman.
it's just my voice that you want? Because, no, but she did make that argument. Yeah, we're married. It's not a big deal that I'd be naked in front of him if we're married. So I think that's kind of the 1980s vibe, too, is that his girlfriend comes out of the bathroom naked. Yeah, there's nobody else there. They live together.
Well, and they always end sex.
Josh has never seen me naked. What?
Yeah,
See?
It's because you're a decent couple.
exactly.
yes,
You're a
we're proper.
God-fearing couple.
Yes.
it's like
I can't wait to tell him.
after they have sex though, immediately they have clothes on again. Like later on in the movie, and we're skipping ahead, but whenever Bill Murray has sex
I was like,
with,
he doesn't have sex with the girlfriend.
No, but he
like,
has sex with
Sean Young.
No, he has.
Oh no, Sean Young is with Harold
PJ
Ramis, and
Soul.
PJ Souls
Yeah, PJ
has
Soul,
sex with
yeah.
Bill Murray.
But they're in the box, and
Spoiler
the whole
alert.
gag is that they banged inside this box that was in front of the bed. And it was empty, and I guess people had big, giant, empty trunks in front of their beds back
Those
then.
Hope chests.
That was a big hope chest.
It was. There was a whole lot of
Well,
hope
it
in
would.
there.
Well,
Yeah.
it was the general's wife's hope chest. So yeah, if they're married, I guess it would be empty at that point.
Yeah. Fair enough. But when it opens and they get up and they've got a lot of clothing on for people who just banged in a box. So did they put the clothes on in the box? Was she putting her?
Well, if you're having
know.
sex in a box, I'm assuming you're already at a certain contortionist level. So maybe they could get dressed and undressed inside a box.
Yeah.
If they're banging inside one, I mean, they've
Just
obviously
doesn't
got
seem
some
like
skills.
a fun sex place, especially when there's
No,
a bed right there.
But I mean, what?
You know?
I mean, think about how many places you see in movies and television shows where, for the sexiness factor, it's like, oh, the shower, the beach, the wherever people are having sex. When you think about the actual logistics of it, does it?
Oh, it doesn't
really,
work.
Exactly.
Okay, who has had sex in a shower?
Of course.
It's not really. I don't know. The shower sex doesn't really.
It's not conducive for sexy time.
I don't know.
It's just not.
I don't know. It was okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I know.
It's
You can kick off some activities in there.
The
but
one
that's-
place that sex never works is on the beach because sand
Sand.
gets everywhere.
and there's wildlife depending on what
Ugh.
beach you're on.
I
Like
hate
there could be,
Yeah,
gets in everywhere.
everywhere. Sandpaper. Yes.
I got the reference.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And she still married him. Anyway,
But yeah. So
so like
think we've-
sex on
hold
the
on.
beach though,
yeah.
because like the problem with the beach is that 10 weeks after you come back from the beach, you take your shoes off and sand comes out.
Yes.
So like for the ladies, like
Oh
10
my
weeks,
God. No. You know what? No.
I don't know. I'm getting no. I'm hearing no.
Well,
There's
I've never
still
had
sand.
sex on a beach for exactly that worry. Like, sand doesn't need to be involved. No, thank you.
It was like
That's-
sex in space.
Space.
Maryland in
still
space.
Yeah, space sex has never officially happened. Officially, but unofficially it has happened, and apparently it was because they're a married couple.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I'm just listening to the
You
story.
know, and it's like, well, hey, it is technically science. Let's see what happens, and it doesn't really work very well because
I
you're just
imagine the
bouncing off
momentum.
walls and-
It's not the
Gravity
same.
is so important.
yeah, well, and you imagine like you see those old Apollo videos where they
Gravity's a
they
bitch
shoot
and a-
like a little like ball of like water at
Yes.
their friends. I'm thinking with sex, you could end up with a really bad situation in
real
your
mess.
spacecraft.
Okay, well then, what's the worst possible place to have sex? Let's play this game.
Electric chair.
That'd be about timing, I would imagine. Because are you both tied down?
That's true. That's true.
And who's on top? Because one of you could escape.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. Worst place. Worst place.
Realistically speaking, not the electric chair.
Ooh.
Because I would say that the beach has got to be up there, like top
That-
five.
That would be my worst is
Yeah.
the beach.
Okay.
It seems
Trying to think of a worse place.
so sexy in movies.
And
But
I don't know.
then,
In movies, yeah, they have a tendency to make things seem sexy that aren't like, ooh, sex in your parents' room. What is
No.
sexy about that? Like in
No.
Coneheads where
Oh,
they're
that's
using
gross.
their parents'
Yeah.
sex toys, and I'm just like, what? Why? I mean, lack of availability there. I guess I understand the desperation, but like, there's a fantasy out there where people are like, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted to do it in my parents' bed." No, why? That's see a therapist because that's not okay. Hindsighters. How much do you hate your parents?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things
Discuss.
that comes from the movies, and because it's been in movies, people think it's real. It's like,
See,
you know,
I would say a bathroom because that's been commonized. Not a word, but that's been used pretty commonly in movies and television. I'm like,
Yeah.
a bathroom? That's disgusting in my head. So that's my
especially a public bathroom.
any sort of bathroom, but especially a public bathroom. Yes. So
Public bathroom
so
would
we've
be
got-
really gnarly.
beach for Mr. Brown, bathroom for me. What about you, Jason?
I'm thinking pretty much any scenario where like you're trying not to make noise. Like if it's like you're at a
A
place.
funeral.
No. Like if you're at a place, like a crowded place, and there's like friends, and you've decided to sneak off to the bedroom, and your friends are like on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
They know what you're doing if you're gone for a certain amount of time.
I don't need an audience. There's enough pressure.
But the argument could be made that if you're going to have sex with people on the other side of the wall in the middle of a crowded apartment.
I've never had sex with anyone on the other side of a wall.
Never used a glory hole? Never? It takes a lot of trust.
I brought this on myself. I'm not even
I'm going to have a hard time pretending this is a girl.
So anyway, another thing that the 80s normalized was racist Mr. Cotter in this movie.
Wait, he's racist?
Yeah. So Harold
Black
Ramis,
guys help
he's
the white guys get some rhythm. That was the only part that I picked up. That
No, it was very subtle, but so Harold Ramis, he's writing out his name, and he goes, "I want you guys to call me Russell, because let's face it, I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of your last names." And they're all like, just looking at him like they don't understand, and he's just either a bad ESL teacher or slightly racist.
Oh, he's definitely a bad ESL teacher.
Oh, very bad.
But he's got the
definitely
Mr.
bad.
Cotter hair.
He
You know, I
does.
really expected John Travolta to show up. It was disappointing
That
that he
haircut's
didn't.
amazing.
It's impressive.
And I like the fact that he only has it because they're going to cut the hair later.
Oh,
Which,
yeah.
So,
Josh called a lot of BS throughout this movie, as I'm sure you can both imagine.
Well,
with the haircuts, no, even some of the other
Yeah.
stuff. We can get to it as the movie progresses. 'cause-
well, the haircuts were interesting though because they Ivan Reitman actually, and this is a scene pretty near the beginning whenever the all of the recruits have made it to boot camp and they're being inducted.
yeah,
They've
we
met
haven't
their
even
drill
gotten to that point
sergeant.
yet.
But when it came time to do the haircutting scene, Ivan Reitman lied to the people and he didn't tell them they were actually going to cut hair. And so when you see their faces and hair is actually coming off, that's real reaction. John Candy in particular was really upset.
You can see his face. Yeah.
And
he reacts. And
but
that was where Josh first started calling bullshit, because when he does watch these movies with me when I'm doing my research for the show, but he's usually playing a game or something to pin. He's not always interested in what we're watching. So
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Exactly. Or Candy Crush. You know, those are his two faves. But anyway, he's sitting on the couch, but he saw the buzz cuts happening and he was like, oh, bullshit. Nope. He was like, first of all, this is definitely not accurate. They are definitely not gentle with that shit. They wouldn't have left that much hair.
No, we knew that. They're actors that hope they're
Yeah.
going to be involved in another project within the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's why
Sure,
they...
I'll shave
Well, and
my head.
it's a big deal too because
But they would have been cue balled in the actual army. And,
Yeah.
because
you don't want to end up looking like somebody from a movie like say G.I. Jane.
That's for the Academy Awards.
Lots of complications.
Come here.
Lots of. I'm just saying. But they didn't. They specifically though didn't
keep
cut.
the Oscars out your effing mouth, Jason.
Wait, now here's the recruiter. This is a classic scene.
Yeah. Are they high?
They could be.
One would assume.
Are either of you homosexuals? They look
And
at
his answer is so perfect.
I
They
know.
look at each other like lovingly. I love
You
it.
mean like flaming, or and then it's a standard,
standard
question. We gotta ask you, you know, because this was before Don't Ask, Don't
But
Tell.
we're not homosexuals, but we're
willing to learn.
Would you send someplace special?
Special, yeah, and yeah, I did have to think about this. I was like, oh yeah, this was 81. This is pre Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So there's that. And this is pre Czechoslovakia becoming the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
So-
still Czech SSR.
Yes.
Well, and this whole scene is a great example of just that chemistry between Bill Murray and Harold Ramis.
Oh yeah.
You know, just the glances, the looks, all of that, and the way that they know how to play off of each other. Bill's doing something with his eyes. I'm not going to say anything. Let Bill do his thing.
Right.
You know,
They have impeccable chemistry with each other. You're
yeah.
right.
Well, like in Ghostbusters, there was a scene when Bill Murray like gave him a candy bar for doing something really well, and he's like, it's like it was a real treat. They are great together.
What did you do, Ray?
They're such a cute couple.
They are.
Yeah, and of course, that's sort of the only person that's kind of missing is Dan Aykroyd.
A little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we
I
have
don't think he would have added much to it.
Oh, and the very first appearance of Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
Gotta love that,
As-
because this movie was a jumping off point for a lot of folks. So first shot in the spotlight for people like Sean Young, John Larroquette, Judge Reinhold, Timothy Busfield, and hey, it's that guy, John Deal.
Oh, yeah. John
Um,
Deal from Miami Vice.
Yeah,
Your
and
favorite show of
two-
ever?
Ever. Yes.
two
Well, his
of
man
the
Crush
bad
Mondays on
guys-
that show.
Yeah, two of the bad guys from the A-Team are also in it. The two different people who both were hunting down the A-Team. That's the general and
Oh, right. Barnaky. No. It's Colonel something, right?
there was a colonel and a general, and they were both in the A-Team.
I do remember that now. Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Colonel Glass? Lance Legault?
Yeah, I think that was him.
Lance Legault.
But the movie, it was a jumping off point for this group of talent that were, you had this sort of Second City alumni, SNL
Penn State
alumni.
guy just passed. I saw it. Just saw
Yeah,
the
we have to
Penn-
explain our
yeah,
collective costumes here in a second.
Yeah, but you had SNL, Second City, and SCTV,
Uh-huh.
and all three of those are represented here.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of SCTV have Jeff Flaherty, Dave Thomas.
I saw Dave
Yeah,
Thomas.
Dave
Founder
yeah.
of Wendy's.
Yes.
No, he's not the founder of Wendy's. The other Dave Thomas, the one who isn't dead.
Right.
Wah, wah.
They were the two Canadian guys.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
G'day, or whatever they
Bob
say.
and Doug
Bob
McKenzie.
and the McKenzie brothers. Yes.
Look. They have a great album, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Anyway,
but
so yes.
Geddy Lee's on it.
We were watching. My wife and I were watching it, and they had all the recruits sitting in the little antechamber, the room. He's, there's a Penn State guy. So I said, I got to wear my Penn State shirt. Well, I just saw him pass by again.
Yes, he shows up, and I've got my Army representation going on.
Look
So
at that. We're both
'cause,
wearing gray.
Josh can actually give me some reference points. Yes, we match in our gray shirts. Yay.
Fort Arnold. The
Is it Knox? Where
it
was
is Fort Knox. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where they
I
actually.
thought it was Knox. Yeah.
There used to be a base called Fort Arnold, but it was renamed after the late unpleasantness with Mr. Benedict Arnold,
Interesting.
and it was renamed to a little place called West Point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. The Army.
So where did you guys go to basic?
Yeah, the Army was surprisingly helpful when they made this movie.
Yeah,
So
they actually liked the movie a lot.
Yeah,
They-
to the point Ivan Reitman was genuinely surprised at how willing the Army was to help out with this. Because I mean, there's a cost associated with driving a bunch of M60 tanks, down the road and letting people film and having a C-130. Yeah. Back then, Bill Murray, who's he? He's a guy from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. Let's talk about the drill sergeant,
Yes, drill sergeant.
who is awesome. Played by, you're going to have to refresh my
Oates.
memory. Famous Western actor,
Sergeant Holka is played by Warren Oates.
Warren
Warren
Oates.
Oates.
Warren
Yeah,
Oates.
Warren Oates, who actually got along very well with Bill Murray. And apparently,
Who couldn't get along with Bill Murray? I mean, I
Sean
know there have been
Young.
really.
Oh yeah, Sean Young.
Well, she
He's
is
crazy.
kind of crazy. But yeah, so I don't know.
Sean Young. After this movie, Bill Murray. I think Bill Murray pretty much said, "I'll never ever work with her ever again."
What was she already displaying her craziness, or was
I
there a
think she
specific
just-
problem that he brought up?
My impression, and I could be wrong on this, but I think that she was put off by the improvisation. When you're trying to act, especially when you're doing, scenes.
When you're the straight person to the funny person.
Well, you look at a lot of those scenes that are fairly complicated scenes that as an actor, you're going to learn your lines, learn your blocking, learn how to do everything. And then Bill Murray's kind of doing his thing.
yeah.
It takes a lot to be able to act alongside somebody who's doing really good improv.
Yeah, not everybody has that skill set.
Right. Yeah. So no, she did not care for it.
Well, they said
Well,
working with Jonah Hill is difficult because he just riffs and riffs and riffs, and he's good at it.
Apparently, I
Very
don't think
good
they're
at
the
it.
same extent, but Steve Carell is kind of similar. He makes all of his fellow actors laugh on set. Ryan Gosling said that about him from Crazy Stupid Love. He was like, "Oh yeah, Steve learned some serious acting from me, and I learned how to not laugh at Steve because holy shit, that guy's really funny." Like,
Well, and John Larroquette.
Was he not in Night Court yet?
Oh no, this is pre-Night Court.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pre-Night
I'm not
Court.
used to seeing John Larroquette with
I know,
darker
I
hair.
know.
That threw me off so
Well,
hard.
and he looks so young.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was young when he was on Night Court, but my God, he looks young in this.
Yeah.
But what's funny, the scene, John Larroquette plays the company commander, who begins the movie as a captain, ends as a lieutenant.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, he gets demoted, and his aide gets promoted. His aide's a sergeant by the end of it. But John Larroquette is sort of the bad guy foil, even though he's really not that important to the plot.
He's just kind of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, he becomes slightly more important towards the end of the movie. But
well, because what's his motivation in this story?
Well, he's a careerist. He just wants.
Well, how does he relate to Bill Murray and the other guys? I'm asking you to explain. To
Well,
the
he's
hindsighters.
he's the officer.
Yeah, but there's a special mission.
Oh yeah.
So what's the point? What's his relationship?
Eventually, that doesn't make any sense though, because he's approached by a general or a colonel. Yeah, colonel who says, "Well, we've got this project, and I want to
the EM-50."
Yeah, the EM-50, and we want brand new soldiers to be seen driving this
The
thing
brand new
in Italy."
weapon, yeah.
Okay.
It's a publicity stunt, essentially. But
the thing is, though, he tells that to one company commander, and then that company commander basically decides he's going to fail all of his own students. And by doing so, he's going to guarantee that his people will not be part of the EM-50 demonstration. So he's cutting off his own nose in order to be the bad guy.
Despite his face, yeah.
He should be really like, no, cover it up, make him look good. I want my guys to be there, because there's like 3 other companies.
But I guess he's also concerned that they're going to embarrass him if they do pass basic, and then they're the idiots guarding the EM-50.
Yeah,
so
I suppose.
I don't know, but
what I was going
inconsistent.
to say about John Larroquette though is the scene. There's an infamous scene, a mud wrestling scene later on in the movie. And then after that scene, John Larroquette is, he's dressing down his troops for disgracing themselves. He's drunk as a skunk when he's doing that
a lot
scene.
of them were drunk.
Yeah,
on
that
the set
scene
of
in
this movie.
particular, he was drunk when he was doing that scene, though.
He
So
was.
oh, here we go. Here's the haircuts. Everybody's getting surprised.
Everybody is shocked, except for the one doofy guy over there who's just, he's okay.
He
And
was
then
in,
there's Psycho.
he was in character as that the entire time. Never left character.
John Deal,
Really?
Yeah.
the goofy guy.
He actually apologized to Ivan Reitman afterwards for being so stupid, because he was literally just in character the
I'm
entire
really not
time.
like that.
Yeah, I'm actually not an idiot.
Because you told me to, drill sergeant. Like, I don't know. Why do you have to stay in that kind of character? I understand actors who, for instance, Kevin McKidd on Grey's Anatomy. He's Scottish, so like he's not one of the actors that does it, but foreign actors who keep their American accent in between takes.
Right, yeah.
I get that, because they don't
It's
want
hard to
their
shift gears.
they don't want to lack in consistency when it comes to their American accent. Now Kevin McKidd can jump in and back and forth and do that all day long. That's fine, but like with this kind of a character, you really have to pretend to be stupid 24/7.
Dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't.
I do it every Wednesday. Anyway,
Really, why is that?
because I'm surrounded by such smart people.
Mm-hmm. But going back to John Larroquette, he had a couple of interesting points throughout this movie. So not just the drunkenness, but apparently he permanently scarred his nose running into a door in the scene where he discovers that the EM-50 had been stolen. So when he's got the, you assume she's a hooker that he's trying to impress. And then
Call girl.
Sure.
They're different.
No,
Yeah.
Adam, when they're dead, they're just called hookers.
Yeah.
But,
Did you look her up, by the way? That
I did
actress?
not.
Oof, man.
Do I want to know?
Bad ending.
Oh no.
You tell us.
Yeah, she ended up.
happened?
She was in a hotel in Rio.
I was about to say, was she in David
Locked her-
Carradine's hotel?
Rio de Janeiro.
It's
Rio.
yeah,
Oh.
it's similar in a sense that she locked the door, took pills, put a plastic bag over her head.
Oh, she Black Christmased herself.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
she
my.
yeah. But before that, she was in like a ton of TV shows and stuff. She was,
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Was she depressed? We don't know.
Drugs.
Maybe. Yeah.
yeah, drugs.
See, children, drugs are bad.
Yeah, they
don't
fuck
do
with
drugs. But yeah, so John Larroquette going to something inappropriate and funny. Yay, lighthearted. So it wouldn't be a Mr. Brown selection, hindsighters, if there wasn't some female nudity involved.
We need.
And there's a
we-
lot.
We need
What,
boobies.
what was your quote last night?
no
that you-
movies without boobies? I'm sorry.
Such a winner. But
It's a nice touch.
I thought.
And the funny thing is with the nudity is that it's fairly easy for them to cover it up when they do the TV version.
Yes.
And there's not a
Yeah.
lot of bad language. So as a kid, I didn't really know what I was missing.
Yeah.
until I saw it on VHS.
That makes sense. And you're like, oh, this movie's a lot, kind of like Caddyshack. You're like, oh, this movie's
Yeah.
dirtier than I
Yeah,
remember
it's
it
a much
being.
different movie.
It's the same sort of concept,
Yeah.
but I thought you in particular would enjoy this, Mr. Brown. So
Yes.
Larroquette ad-libbed the "I wish I was a loofah," according to Mental Floss. Right? So Larroquette's character is spying on the females while they're showering, and apparently Reitman told Larroquette to improvise stuff to say while he was looking at naked women in the shower. He came up with "I wish I was a loofah." After Reitman yelled "cut," he asked the actor what a loofah was.
It was the 80s. Nobody knew.
Well, honestly, I did not know what a loofah was
Larroquette
the first
knew.
time I
Well,
saw this.
now my question for you, then, Mr. Brown, is when
Yes.
John Larroquette is staring with the binoculars,
Yes.
is that red light behavior?
Yes. Okay. All right. For those of you out there that don't know, I hosted a Navy sexual harassment video where I trained people on red, yellow, and green light behavior. John would say that's an example of red light behavior.
Yeah, you
Yes.
see, I think more like yellow light because I mean he's not doing anything. See,
The
that's
yellow's transitioning to the
oh,
red.
okay,
I'd say-
sort of an orange.
Yeah,
it's sort of
orange.
orange because
You know what? Because he's not touching.
Exactly,
He isn't.
because I
He's-
saw
he's-
that.
He's looking from afar.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and you know that video paid for by the taxpayers basically included a dude who was going to rape a girl.
That's red light behavior.
That's red light behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, see.
In this
I-
case, it's a victimless crime.
I would love to see the guy who was watching that, like in a conference room, and he sees the scene where the guy's about to rape his fellow, Navy officer or whatever,
Right.
and he goes, "Oh, okay, that's red light behavior. Don't do that." Okay,
But
this was useful.
Anna Probst.
but that only became red light behavior in the late 80s.
yeah.
It was
After the
actually,
cocaine
Tail
wore
Hook.
off.
it used to be green light behavior
Yeah.
in the 70s, but that
Well,
was a
no,
different
no,
Navy.
that involved Quaaludes. That was
Yeah.
different.
Tail Hook changed a lot.
Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, so we missed another scene that is pretty iconic. So, gentlemen, what song are the troops singing when they first learned to march in basic training?
I actually don't know the name of the song. I just know it's the Doo-Wah Diddy song.
Who did he?
Does it have a name?
It's a 60s song, isn't it?
You're right.
50s, 60s.
But they're singing. Only Candy and Psycho knew the lyrics to "Do Wah Diddy Diddy."
Oh, that is actually the name of the song?
Apparently,
I'll be damned.
Conrad Dunn, who played Psycho, recalled that he and Candy had to teach it to the rest of the outfit. Because
Interesting.
everybody
Yeah.
knows the "do I did,"
But nobody knows the
diddy,
rest
but
of
nobody. Well, I know a good deal of it. I was singing along, and then I looked this up, and I was like, "Ooh, I feel like I'm amongst the elite."
Did anybody else for a second think that Psycho was played by Hank Azaria?
I could see Hank Azaria
Because
playing
I
him. but
totally,
no.
I was like, is that a young Hank Azaria?
I can
it's
see
not.
it.
It's absolutely not.
I can see it. I know what you mean, but
Yeah.
Hank Azaria would have given him like a funny accent or something, like "You guys don't touch my things, okay?" Like he would have been just like
You
his
touch it,
character.
I kill you.
Don't touch my things. Like
That would
those.
have been way better.
Who are those? Because I
From
thought of that.
Seinfeld?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Seinfeld guys. Yes, this is our chivalry. Okay, do not mess with the bureau or whatever it was that they were
No,
fighting.
we're taking it.
We're taking it. You can't stop us. You mess up the soup? What are you doing with the soup? But yeah, it's all the same accent. But Psycho, yeah, I think Hank Azaria could have pulled that off really well.
Yes.
But I mean, look at Harold Ramis's hair. That is way too long for,
Oh, yeah.
for boot camp.
That's what I'm saying. Josh
Way
was like,
too
first
long.
of all, even with all the rest of the guys, they'd be cute bald all day long. Like,
Well, there's a continuity thing with the hair too, because you notice John Candy's hair is a lot longer than it was when he locked.
Oh,
it's
you're
it's
right.
like because it's
They shot it 6 weeks
yeah,
later. or
it's a
something.
few weeks later, and they
Yeah.
didn't recut his hair.
you mean a movie like this isn't focused super hard on continuity?
Yeah, there are some continuity errors in the movie that
Well,
we may point out.
They were busy getting to know each other, which took place in a couple of different ways. So Murray and John Candy apparently had different approaches to bonding with the platoon, as it were. Murray arranged a screening of the 1968 film The Bofors Gun, a dark military drama set in West Germany following World War II. Guess what Candy did? Any guesses?
Trying to
no,
think.
I
No,
feel like I know
Private
this, but I
Benjamin?
don't.
It's not that insane.
No, what was it?
Candy invited the company to his house to watch the famous Roberto Duran Sugar Ray
Yes.
Leonard fight and enjoy a spaghetti dinner made by his wife.
Yes,
Oh, that's cool.
Aw.
No, that's nice.
that would have been fun. I mean, I'd like to be able to say I once had a spaghetti dinner at
With John
Candy's
Candy, yeah,
house,
that would
you
be
know?
cool.
Yeah, that would be really awesome.
I want to eat a giant pancake with John Candy, and I know that's a common thing due to Uncle Buck. But,
Yeah.
you know.
I think John Candy he always looked like one of those guys that would probably have been really nice to hang out with.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Bill
Have
Murray.
a beer with kind of guy.
Yeah, because Bill Murray, that could go either way.
He's
You know,
he's
You
a
gotta
little aloof.
wonder.
Yeah,
Somewhat aloof.
yeah. Ivan Reitman would probably have been a pretty nice guy to hang
Oh, I
out
would
with.
love to hang out with Ivan Reitman. He seems like he'd be a sweetheart to hang out with.
Yeah. It's so weird though, like looking at Harold Ramis, because now I see him with a beard, because for the last many years, you know, he had a beard, and it's I don't know, it's just sad thinking, you know, that Ivan Reitman's gone, Harold Ramis is gone,
Yeah.
John Candy is
I
gone.
loved Harold Ramis. Like,
You know,
oh, look, it's Adam's cousin who does meth. That random guy in the barracks. Did you not see that?
what?
Never mind. Don't worry about it. It was mean.
Did he look
Wait,
like me?
Not really, no.
Okay.
But
if he did meth, he might be a distant relative.
Got
Yes.
it. Very good.
That's what I was
Yes.
saying. I wasn't insulting you.
we are actually past time for our first
I've
break.
been having so much fun.
Yeah, so
Lost track of time.
we're going to be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
Hi.
And watching boobs. Because we have
I'm
we
thrilled.
have fast forward to what I think is kind of the most uncomfortable scene of the movie. Particularly
Ridiculously long. and
it is
uncomfortable.
yeah. That's why I wonder if this was lengthened in the extended cut.
I think so.
Because it goes on forever.
And it doesn't
does.
help the
Yeah.
story. It doesn't
No, it has
assist in
nothing
any
to do with the
way.
story.
No, it's just completely like
In this scene, the guys go to they're out in the town and they go to a place that's called
Pom-Pom or
Pom
something
Poms.
like that?
Yeah. And it's a nudie bar, but it's a mud wrestling bar with Dave Thomas as the
And it's-
MC.
and you also have to like auction off the wrestling matches.
Yeah, like if you want to wrestle the girls, whoever
Yeah, there's no
puts the most
prize money
up.
to you have to auction yourself into
like,
the situation.
And it's illegal too, because the cops raped
Fun
the
was
place.
illegal in the 1980s.
I guess. I don't know. But
Somebody was smoking a J and got everybody in trouble.
Bill Murray convinces John Candy to wrestle in the mud wrestling pit with the ladies.
And it starts
apparently-
out as like 2 women, and then it quickly
Yeah, it keeps
turns
going.
into like 8 and then 9. And so then the entire club of women just turn against him, but he turns the tables on them.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
he
no,
does this
when he
Three
steals all
Stooges
their
thing.
underwear.
Yeah. The scene though, it's weird because John Candy looks the entire scene like he's incredibly uncomfortable. And as it turns out, that's because throughout the entire scene, John Candy was incredibly uncomfortable.
Do tell.
He did not like this scene at all. He
Oh,
didn't,
really?
He didn't like,
He doesn't like having dirt on his body.
I don't know if that was it. Although
That must be what it was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
if I'm honest though, I would hate to. I hate.
Well, because
I
think
would hate
about
to
it.
have the
I
mud.
mean,
I don't want to have mud all over me.
Yeah, I don't
well,
like the
that
blood.
and plus, like, think about the limitations that go behind something like this in a regular movie. It's not like a porno where all bets are off. You have to be careful about where your hands are going,
Right?
and
Yeah.
who you're touching and how. So I can imagine
it's
it
not
being kind of
sexy.
complicated. No,
Yeah,
it's not
I mean,
sexy at all.
That is not something that I look at and go, "Ooh, wow! I would like to do that because it's sexy." It
No.
Because the girls
really
are actually.
doesn't.
First of all, the girls are actually hurting him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
not
they beat
play
the crap
fighting.
out of him,
They
yeah.
beat the crap
he's
out of
hurting
him.
the girls too. He's
Well,
Yeah, he
eventually
punches-
he
yeah.
does because he's reticent to wrestle with them because he's like, I don't know, I used to wrestle in school, but they're girls. They're frilly. They can't hurt me back. Like I don't want to hurt them. And then they kick the crap out of him. But that's because like 10 of them team up on him.
yeah, and his name is Ox, and it's John Candy, but he's not really all that big in this movie. Like he's not really like John Candy's not grotesquely overweight.
Well, and he's not like a big
know.
tall guy either to
No.
where his weight would really make him seem formidable. He's just kind of a overweight guy. Like, and I'm not saying that to be
No,
nasty
I mean
to
he
John
know-
Candy,
Well,
but
he
like
knew that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not like The Mountain where, you know, he's a huge guy and yeah, he's even more jacked now, but you know, if The Mountain didn't work out ever again a day in his life, he'd still be The Mountain because he's like 40 feet tall. Like,
But if he
he's-
got shot multiple times, you know what he would be.
the valley.
Go ahead. You know what I'm going to say.
I'm not doing it.
The Holy Mountain.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
She's putting her hat back on.
nice,
I quit.
nice helmet there, Pile.
I'm ready to wrestle. Let's go.
Yeah. So they do the mud wrestling. I'm actually trying to remember the plot of the movie and how it gets to them being in trouble. they get arrested for, I can't really figure out why they're in trouble, because John Candy was wrestling, but the others were just at a bar having drinks. It's not.
Yeah, they weren't
you don't
going
go,
nuts
You don't
or-
go to the stockade for that.
Yeah, they weren't like breaking shit or getting rowdy with the owners or doing anything actually illegal. So you got to wonder.
Well, he ripped the tops off. Maybe the owner just said it was getting a little too violent.
No, he ripped their underwear off.
Oh, their bottoms.
Yeah, he ripped their
too?
bottoms off.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm gonna have to look at the movie again.
He was all Harvey Weinstein in that.
What did I do? Take a closer look, Mr.
Yeah,
Brown.
exactly. I'm freezing it here.
Let's watch it in slow motion.
So he's really
And I
drunk.
gotta go.
His
Yeah,
boss-
Larroquette is drunk in this scene.
Yes, he's dressing down all of his troops, and he's essentially threatening to make them all redo basic training
And
and
it is-
shame them for.
Yeah, cause he's just being a bad guy.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
that's
just
it.
swinging his dick around.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't do that. You
They
just
said he
drum him
didn't
out.
need
Yeah.
pants because he feels the need to swing his dick around. But now we get to the point where the girls, so the MPs, and this is
The
another,
only 2 MPs in the entire United States Army.
well, the thing that Josh called out for this, he was like, oh yeah, that's another thing. Hot MPs do not exist. So apparently that's a myth as well. But yeah, you got Sean
I don't
Young.
know if you're
and-
like you're into bears. There's probably a couple.
You might be.
I don't know.
Hey, I love a lady who can bench press somebody. That's that's great. But
Now, I've seen some amazingly attractive gate guards, believe it or not.
That
okay.
makes sense.
Not in the old days. They were all men, but now that we're more integrated,
Put a good face.
That doesn't
forward.
mean they weren't attractive, Mr. Brown.
well, perhaps you're right there. But
No, here's a question, though. So the MPs, they sort of get the boys out of trouble. They sneak what Harold Ramis, what's his name? Russell. They sneak Russell and Winger away from the trouble, and they take them to the general's house. Why are they at the general's house? Like, what are they house sitting?
Yeah, well,
What's the
that's-
scenario?
That's what they make it out like. They're house sitting for the general.
Why?
well, they're fluffing up the house for when he arrives.
Yeah, I mean,
You mean staging the house?
Well,
and how long has he
They're
been
not
gone?
a porno.
they're fluffers.
Because
So you
the
can always tell when he's been gone out of town. He gets
Yeah.
so pervy when he comes back.
the produce in that refrigerator doesn't look like the general's been gone that
No.
long. I think that's
Well, maybe
Now-
that's what we're saying. They're staging the house, so maybe they're prepping it for his return.
this scene, the spatula scene, is one that could not in any way, shape, or form be made today.
Why?
They would not be. How
No,
many?
I'm actually
How many
asking.
times does she say no before he just she's no, I don't want to. No, I don't consent. I don't. Okay, I'm into it.
I don't know. I didn't read the scene that way.
Yeah, she keeps pawing him off, and he's like, "No, you love me. You
Yeah, but
love
she's
it.
sitting-
You
it's
love
not like-
it."
she's not saying like, no, stop it. Like, leave me. She's not being really severe with him. She's just like, stop. It's like a giggly kind of, not really no kind of stop.
I guess I got kind
There's
of
a
I got a
difference.
yellow light vibe off of this.
Well, we've got the expert right here. So, Mr. Brown, what kind of
Yeah.
behavior is this in your personal opinion?
You're right. It's yellow light. It's not full green light
Yeah.
and not red light, but it's right in the middle. And the thing is, depends on how sensitive you are.
That's true.
Because
For sure.
no sometimes means yes, but no sometimes means no.
That's true.
And it depends on the tone.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
That's why
'cause-
text messages are so dangerous.
I know. So true.
Well, and Louis C.K. does have that joke where he took a girl up to his room.
Good choice of person to
I
mention.
think so,
Yeah, okay,
especially
yeah.
when we're talking about the gray areas or the yellow areas, as it were, of sexual conquest.
Red light
but-
behavior. All of Louis C.K.
That's
more or less.
very red light.
No, but he does have a joke that actually, reflects in this arena where he was talking about a girl that he took back to his room and she kept resisting him when he was advancing on her. And so eventually he just gave up and they parted ways. And the next night she was like, so what happened last night? Why didn't you go for it? And he was like, you were pushing me away from you and generally saying no. And she's like, oh, I was just kind of hoping that you'd really just go for it. And he's like, yeah, that's like me raping you. So no thanks. And that's kind of the joke. But
If only we knew.
but the confusing thing is
The
that
plausibility of that story starts to decrease.
exactly. It's
yeah.
like anything in the rape family is generally frowned upon,
Yeah.
ladies. So stop making that seem like it's mainstream because it's not.
It's we're
Oh, and this game was such weak sauce. So see, okay.
the Forceville game.
Yeah, I thought Bill Murray's
was kinda
approach was
cute.
cuter than Sean Young's approach because she was the one seducing Harold Ramis, whereas
Yeah.
Bill Murray's seducing PJ Soul. So They play the force field game, which is just, what's the premise of the force field game, gentlemen?
Hang on. This is the scene where they get out of the box.
Again.
There's like a blanket on the ground. I don't know how they made it. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You're looking for logic where there's none to be found.
Matter. It really doesn't matter.
Well, maybe they didn't have sex. Maybe they just made out in there.
Yeah.
Is that any better? Like,
well, it's just, let's do it in the general's box.
you were just waiting for an instance to say that.
I thought his wife was out of town.
Ah.
I tossed the softball, waiting for someone to catch it.
So they all get into trouble.
And,
Yes.
and they blame Winger.
Yes. And okay. So
Well, because he's the one who wanted to go to Pom Poms or whatever that place is
Yes.
called.
yeah. Come on, guys.
Screw you for picking the venue, dude.
Yeah.
But he's the popular kid to hate because he's been getting them in trouble throughout basic training. He stays in trouble the entire time. He's the first one to mouth off to the drill sergeant and be sentenced to like 50 push-ups or something. And then the very first morning when they're going on a run, he smarts off and says, "Oh, I think it's raining and everyone in here agrees that we should delay this run and go another time." And he's like, "Okay, you just tacked on an extra 5 miles." And from there, it just snowballs. So Winger's the easy target to blame.
And by the way, you have to ask Josh, when do you age out of being able to enlist? There's a certain maximum age. Bill Murray was 30 in
Let's
this movie.
find out.
And Harold Ramis was 36.
Yeah. I think Ramis was out of the range there.
I definitely think so.
One thing I do want to talk about, and I kept every time they would say Bill Murray's name in the movie.
35.
35. So yeah, Ramis was out.
Winger. Every time they
Jeffrey.
would call him Winger, and I thought, okay,
Jeff.
how do I connect
Yeah,
Bill Murray's Winger to, because the age,
The recast game would be pretty easy. in
well,
this
no, I'm
movie,
just
I
saying,
feel.
like, if I wanted to put Community and Stripes in the same universe, I think could Bill Murray be his uncle? Could he be Jeff's? Probably not his dad, because Winger's dad was in Community. So that's not it. But I think he could be his uncle. I think he could be the brother of
He
the
could
senior
be,
Winger.
Yeah.
And maybe, because, come on. They sort of have a similar outlook on life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar vibe.
I think you could definitely tie the Stripes universe and the Community universe together. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's an excellent story. That's all I have to say about that.
My dad was in Vietnam.
Was your dad a GI? But so of course Bill Murray ends up being the ragtag leader. And they sort of allude to it.
We've been kicking ass for 200 years. We're 10-1.
He's a mutt. His
Damn it.
nose is cold.
Now we're like 11-2.
So here's the thing: is that their group is actually going to fail basic training, and they're all upset with Winger about that. And he's actually the one who pulls them together and says, "No, we can pull this off." Because at first it's Harold Ramis, and you think he's going to be the leader because he's like, I learned 2 semesters worth of geology in 3 hours for a final. We can do this, and they don't really.
Yeah, and he was lying when he said that.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you think they're painting him up to look like the guy who's going to bring them together, but
Yeah.
then it ends up being Bill Murray.
Well, and
Winger's the one who brings them together.
by giving a speech.
Exactly.
It's genetic, see? Well, and it's so implausible and ridiculous because their drill sergeant has been wounded because John Larroquette just ordered some people to fire a mortar just in any old direction and happened to hit the tower that the drill sergeant.
Yeah, I didn't give any coordinates.
Yeah. And he was actually originally supposed to be killed.
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
I would not like that. I love the,
Oh, he was.
the sounds that Sergeant Holcomb makes when he's laying on the ground there is so perfect. And then he starts to strangle Winger. It's the best.
He was supposed to be killed, and then his twin brother was going to show up. And thankfully,
Oh my God.
yeah, I know.
Holcomb was
Who
supposed to
wrote
die.
that?
So
Yeah.
the fall from the high platform was meant to be fatal. The character and the actor were too well liked for that part of the script not to change. So, yep, they brought that back.
Oh,
And
that's
so
great.
they put together a fun little dance routine, drill routine, which I did drill in high school in JROTC. And so that was actually kind of cool watching that.
there was
It's
some
like,
good stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I remember doing that shit. That was fun.
Load up, sir.
That's how I have the scar on my nose.
Oh, you and John Larroquette both scarred your noses.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. No, I was
What type of weapon did you draw?
M14.
M14? M1903 A330 caliber bolt action rifle. That's what I drove with.
No, it was
Shoot
an
your eye out,
M14.
kid.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an M14, and it was one of the ones we had. We were doing a thing where we were spinning the rifle and going down on one knee, and as I was spinning it, the center of the stock snapped.
Oh no.
And I was holding on to one part of it,
right.
but then the other part was connected by the sling,
And
so it sort of like did that, and it just barely sliced right down the tip of my nose. I mean, it could have been, but
It was meant to be fatal, but Jason tested too popular.
yeah,
He did.
So
And they
God kept him.
yeah.
Kept him.
But then I ended up on this show, so
Wah,
That's your penance.
behind the music.
But okay, so let's talk about where the movie winds up, because like you said, Jason, Ryman wasn't
really
a huge
stupid.
fan of the last third of it.
Right.
I wasn't either, because it turns into an entirely different movie. It pivots too hard to really make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
The whole movie
Where should
could've-
it end?
the basic performance,
Yeah,
like
when they
them
graduate.
graduating
When
basic
they're-
training.
That would be the great ending. Yeah.
And they could have, gotten into more shenanigans and actually proven as a unit that they get into trouble together. Whereas, yeah, it's incongruous because Winger is the one that suggests they go to one venue, and because the police break them up randomly, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
And they're being threatened with failure, basic training. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but you could have made the entire movie about them passing basic, and that would have been fine.
Dennis Quaid is somewhere in this scene. He has a cameo here.
Well, he was married to
PJ's.
PJ
Yeah,
Souls,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah, I
How
think
old would he have been in 1981?
He would have been young.
Young
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Late
This
20s.
is pre-Jaws
Yeah.
3D.
Yes. It was before his
The
big
3D
breakout role
opening.
in Jaws 3D. No, I think the movie, if it had ended with the graduation, it would have been funny. It would have been good.
And they could have made the whole performance even more elaborate. It would have been. They could have done so much more with that instead of incorporating and shoehorning the whole EM50 plot into it.
Yeah, which is really
Because it doesn't track. Like, I looked down at my phone for like 2 seconds, and then I was like, okay, we're fighting with Czechoslovakia now? What?
It was a
Why?
good history lesson, I think.
yeah,
It was nice.
yeah.
Frozen in time. The world does change.
Yeah. No, it is amazing to think, back then you're, in this era that we lived in, it's like, well, there were two Germanys.
Yeah.
There was an
Two
iron
Berlins.
Yeah, there was an Iron Curtain. It wasn't the Czech Republic. It was Czechoslovakia, Soviet Socialist Republic.
Yeah.
So it is neat to see it. I think the whole third act, you need to do something so that John Larroquette gets some comeuppance. You get that.
He sort of gets. They just sort of toss it in at the very
Yeah.
end, though. He gets a bit of a comeuppance, but
It should've-
there's nothing substantial to it.
I think they should have done like they did with Police Academy, and I think the entire third act should have been a second movie. Because with Police Academy, you get Police Academy 2, their first assignment.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Police Academy 3, back to the academy. You literally could have done Stripes 3, where Bill Murray's back as a drill instructor.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no, because John Candy winds up being the sergeant.
Oh, that's
Right?
true, John. Yeah. Well, you could still.
You can still do it with
Well,
that.
it would be like Mahoney. It would be John Candy would be like, "Oh God, we have this problem. Hey, call Winger and get him here. He can
they
help
could
us solve this
team up.
problem."
Yeah, because he always
like they did with Mahoney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it. And like there were a couple of points that just didn't make sense for them to even bring up, like John Candy when they're all getting to know each other in the barracks the first night or whatever. Basic there, John Candy's like, yeah, I'm a big guy. You can all see that. I admit it, and I'm really looking to get in shape and get healthier. No, that never happens.
No.
Like not even close. So why even bring it up?
Well,
Like,
that scene's weird anyway because it has that exchange where Bill Murray says to, oh God, the dumb one.
John Deal.
Yeah. And he says, like, in that story you told about the cow and your friend, and it makes you feel like there's a scene that you missed, but that was literally just improv. Bill Murray just did that.
Yeah.
And they made it in, but it's sort of like, it doesn't,
What I miss.
yeah, what did I miss?
yeah, this movie had a shot at being more substantial as a comedy, but I
Yeah.
think too much was shoehorned in, honestly, with the EM50 thing. So
It's not that funny. of a comedy.
No, it's not. It could have been. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You could have added a lot more substantial shenanigans. Like
Yeah.
it could have been a lot more Animal House, because the entire plot of Animal House is what? Them not being suspended
That's it.
from school and
Yeah.
losing their fraternity.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. They don't accomplish some big, mission or save the world or each other. It's just that. You don't need more than that to make a funny movie.
I think that's one of the differences between this and Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters, in a way, is a comedy that isn't overly funny, but it's got such a good story.
Yeah, and there's enough
such good
action to
characters,
compensate, and
it's just great from beginning to end.
and it has Ernie Hudson. So,
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
and this movie doesn't have that story backing it up. You know,
Right.
I think that, to his credit, I think it's what Dan Aykroyd brought to this whole mix of people is, well, let's do this whole big thing now, and it became what it is.
Well, and this movie's also missing that kind of chemistry, because you got Winger and Russell, and they have great chemistry because it's Harold Ramis and Bill Murray. But it's
That's it.
but that's what I'm saying. That's the strong relationship, and that's really all you have. You don't have anybody else who stands out that way. Whereas in the original Ghostbusters, the team, they just melded together. They were all perfect for each other. Everybody sang their own separate notes, but it all worked out great. Whereas with the women, when they remade it with the women, all of those women are individually funny, but they weren't funny together.
Well, and
I didn't think.
you can't do Ghostbusters as an improv movie. Ghostbusters,
No, that has more structure.
Has got to be scripted. You can't. Bill Murray can do a little flavor here and there, but it can't just be go in there and be funny.
Yeah, he
You
can do
can't
his
that.
mass hysteria stuff.
One other connection though between this and Ghostbusters, Elmer Bernstein,
Music.
the music.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This was one of the sort of the revival of Elmer Bernstein's
There's the
career,
sergeant.
because he had done incredible Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, and then I don't know what happened, but he sort of fell off the radar for a while, and then this, and then Ghostbusters. And you can tell when you listen to the music. I mean, it's definitely by the same guy who did both The Great Escape and Ghostbusters. That music is the Stripes soundtrack.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did love the music.
Oh, speaking of stuff that's incongruous, going back to that for a second, a 9-minute acid trip scene was shot but cut.
I'd like to have seen that.
So apparently John and Russell took LSD and went on a mission to fight rebels in the Colombian jungle. Reitman didn't think it fit in with the tone of the rest of the movie.
Well, that whole scene in the jungle was so weird because you have things like Harold Ramis takes a bunch of acid, so he's tripping the whole time, although it doesn't really look like he's tripping. You don't really get any payoff for that. And
Wait,
then
when did this happen?
How long does peyote last? Asking for a friend.
when they were getting on the plane, because he thought that Judge Reinhold, he was like, yeah, I got some of these from whatever his name is.
Yeah, because
And he
Judge
was
is
like,
kind
"Let
of
me-"
hitting him up, and he's like, "Are you holding or whatever?"
Yeah.
They have a whole. That's another thing that
Yeah,
doesn't pay
it
off.
doesn't pay off. And Bill Murray looks at it and he goes, let me see this. Oh, those are microtabs. That's his LSD. How many did you take? And he goes, 2. And then one just now. And then one in the car over here. And he's
And
like,
now I need to
you
go to the
took 6.
hospital.
And he's like, 6 hits.
What movie was that in? Stripes?
That was in this.
Not in the version I saw. That
Okay.
was not in the version I saw.
See, maybe we
never-
saw different movies.
Okay.
I have never seen that version ever.
Well, what about them going to the Colombian jungle?
No, that never happened. Are you making this up? Are you tripping?
Wait, you didn't see that either?
No, I was just saying that the Colombian jungle
that
thing
was
was
the part
cut.
that was cut.
No.
I didn't actually see them in the Colombian jungle, to my knowledge, unless I looked away for.
All of this
This
stuff?
never
Oh my
happened in
God,
any
no,
movie that
I
I'd
never
ever
saw
seen.
that.
Oh, holy shit.
You saw the extended version.
You
Okay,
did.
so
All right, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
have solved that mystery.
Holy cow, this is a different movie.
Yeah.
We saw a different movie.
Yeah, this is the whole thing.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't see any of this.
I'll
Holy
be damned.
shit.
I didn't. Yeah, there's a whole thing.
That's why I was saying there was no payoff to the drug stuff, but apparently, yeah, there's LSD involved.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So yeah, you saw the stuff
I
that
saw
Reitman
this
got
in
rid
the
of.
movies as a kid.
Okay. Well,
The
now we
movies?
know the answer. This is
That's the scene that was
this. It's a long scene, but it's not strictly speaking an acid trip scene. See, I thought what you were saying, because when I said there's no payoff to the LSD, he takes the LSD. He's sort of tripping, but you don't really get anything out of it.
He
and
is
then
tripping bear balls.
and then there's a part, which this is all new to you because you haven't seen it. where they're captured by these
Cartel.
Yeah, these cartel guys, and they take the vial with all the acid and they put it in the stew that they're eating, but then they don't eat the stew. And it's like they're
so
gonna
there's no payoff to that either.
No, and it's a really weird sequence anyway, because like they're gonna be executed, and then they start singing, and then all the people start singing with them, and they get out, they get away. There's no consequences from this scene at all.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's a lengthy.
That actually would have made some more of the movie make sense though if I had seen the extended version, because when they take the EM50, they're like, why don't we just take it, on a trip with the girls? And it's this huge, mega weapon that they're supposed to be guarding. And you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Where they're just like, they just think they can take it for, a ride for a weekend and hang out with their girlfriends up in the Alps.
Yeah, from a tone perspective, that's more consistent now because they've already done something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
you had seen these other hijinks they'd gotten into, it would have made more sense. But as it is, the movie takes a hard left when they, first of all, have to guard the EM50, and then they're like, hey, let's just take it out of town this weekend. And that's it.
Now, is this a
And
dream
then-
sequence?
No, this is all.
No,
No,
this
it's
is-
not a dream sequence.
Mucho gusto.
They
See, you and I would have understood this.
Harold Ramis wants to get out. So he's like, get me out of here. So Bill Murray they find a C-130 that's about to go somewhere, and
I
they
thought
just
Bill Murray was the one that was trying to run away, and
that's
Ramis was the
that's
one
a
who
different
talked him
scene.
into. See,
That's a
now
that's a different
man,
scene. Yeah, that's a totally different scene.
That's annoying.
That's when Harold Ramis is mad at him and it's like, you can't leave. You got me into this. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's a federal crime if you leave now. But no, so Bill Murray gets on, and there's like a special forces unit, and Bill Murray bluffs his way past them,
Oh my god.
and they end up, and they parachute out of the plane.
He's very
knew
much the
I never
Fletch
knew
of this
this
movie.
existed.
I'll be damned.
Ever. Once again, I'm a better person than I was an hour ago, thanks to
And you picked
my
the movie.
hindsighters.
Yeah, see, look, they're putting the LSD in the stew,
Yeah.
and
And
yeah,
they never see.
Yeah,
what
this is
happens.
not. So, what platform is this on, Jason?
this
Amazon?
is Amazon Prime.
Well,
I got
if-
this so we could.
Okay,
have
so
it
I'm
playing,
assuming you
yeah.
and I watched the Netflix one
I
because
did.
I watch Netflix. All right.
So once again,
if-
we've learned that Netflix is the inferior streaming platform. That's good to know. Yeah, there we are then. So, it got
Really-
who knows what other
really
mysteries.
harmonized there.
We did.
Yeah, there may be other wonderful things in this movie that you don't even know are there.
Good
This
golly.
is so true.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it again.
There might
Oh,
be
no.
more nudity. There may be boobs you haven't seen.
Oh no!
More boobies in the movies.
Yes. Yeah, it's a $2 rental.
And Darth died a little on the inside.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
so they start singing, and
There she
yeah,
was. Just
no,
I know.
they just sing Quando.
Quando.
And then everyone starts singing with them, and then
I can't hear the song, so I have no idea
then
what
they
song you're
leave.
singing.
And then they get back on the plane, and
They're
they
literally
come
just
home.
saying win.
And for some
over
reason,
and over again.
even though they parachuted there, the plane is landed on a strip like right there.
You nut.
the magic of Hollywood. Hollywood.
Yeah, they're literally just saying Quando,
That's
Quando,
it.
Quando,
That's-
Quando.
that's the
Win,
scene.
win.
Yeah.
Win. So
This
okay.
scene was cut for good reason.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
it
you're
adds
right.
nothing to the movie.
yeah, that's stupid.
Okay, well, all right, that's a surprising development here.
Look at that.
I wonder what other scenes are there.
I don't know.
What
Yeah,
else?
we really don't know. We don't know
we
what
have
to look
no
for.
idea. I mean,
that scene with the alligators. What? Now this I remember. So John Larroquette has his
Yeah.
lady of the night, who apparently met a sad end. In
she's
her
an
life.
escort, a courtesan.
No, Cyril. When they're dead, they're just called hookers. But yeah, so John Larroquette has this very, very pretty blonde that she's trying
dressed like Khan from Star Trek 2.
Similar hairdo.
Yeah,
too.
she has a similar haircut
Yeah.
too, and almost as impressive breasts.
Almost,
Oh, yes.
not quite.
They weren't
Ricardo
fake either.
Montalban.
Montalban is on record; those were real.
Anyway, Larroquette is trying to show off the EM50 to the lady he's paying.
Oh, yeah.
He's paying for her company, and yet he still needs to show off. That I'll never understand.
His mother never approved of him. He didn't
Oh,
get enough
okay.
positive feedback.
He didn't get enough
as
love
a
from his
child.
mommy, and then he's
Yeah.
going to start picking up hookers and killing them.
Well, that's the thing.
Classic
He was
story.
actually going to kill her, but then he got sidetracked because the secret project EM50 that they have painted on the
He was-
fucking door.
He was gonna go. He was gonna go full Dexter. He had like all the plastic up in the EM50.
Oh,
and
yeah, he had everything.
He
It
was
was
gonna
all
murder
set,
the
yeah.
shit out of her, but then his staging got
Foiled
ruined.
again.
Yeah.
Foiled again.
So both wingers have been on a Winnebago on an adventure.
I texted you guys this. Did you see that last night?
Yes, yes.
Because, so the Winger and Russell wind up taking the EM50 to the Alps with their MP girlfriends who were suddenly also in Italy for no apparent reason. So maybe that's was that ever explained in the extended version? Because
why they were in.
So the guys fly to Italy to be part of the EM50 project, right? The girls are still in America. They even point that out. They're like, oh, too bad the girls aren't here, you know? Like,
no, they say they're in Germany.
Oh, they do?
They do.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I missed
they
that.
said it's too bad that the girls are in Germany. And that's what gives rise to the, well, hey.
Oh,
hey,
so why don't we go?
Why don't we?
Okay.
No,
All right.
no. I'll drive. Okay.
Yeah, I thought the girls were still in America, so that I just missed it. But
I like John Larroquette's outfit right there.
He's dressed like a
very Dick Tracy.
Should be wearing like lederhosen or something with that hat on.
Maybe he's trying to blend in.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, he looks like an Oktoberfest festival.
So yes. So
Yeah, so the Wingers. So the guys are up in the Alps with the girls, and they have to come and rescue their team because now, why did they wind up in Czechoslovakia?
John Larroquette doesn't want anyone to know that because he was in charge of security for the EM50. When it's stolen, he decides, I'm going to get my company, and we're just going to go get it back. And so
they think they're traitors at this point.
Yeah. So they're like, we're gonna drive to where they are. They never explain how they know where they're going, but they end up taking a wrong turn and driving into Czechoslovakia.
Right. Like you do.
Yeah, they go by Joe Flaherty in the booth. Who Joe Flaherty's great in this.
Yeah.
He ends up on the cover of the paper at the end.
Yeah.
But
local boys.
Yeah. So they take a wrong turn. They go to Czechoslovakia. The Czechs think that the Americans are invading, so they capture them and proceed to torture them. But Sergeant Holka gets away.
Yeah, he peels off on his
own.
own.
A radio.
Gives them the coordinates of where the company is.
And the only person who picks up Sergeant Holka's radio, even though they're not particularly close, is the EM50.
Yeah.
No one else hears a guy saying the Czech people don't hear it. Nobody hears it.
They said something about that. They said that due to the number, it was on a secure line and nobody's going to pick that up or they're not going to take it seriously. Something to that end. They did explain that away.
Okay.
But when
that's
the guys
fine. A throwaway line is fine.
When the guys are on the Winnebago trying to turn it into a Wannabango with the girls. Thanks, Family Guy. No, but I texted the boys Hindsighters. I was like, this is even better than when the Greendale 7 tried to pass the KFC simulation. Because you're right, they do wind up on Winnebagos for like no reason. So yeah.
Yeah. And there's a weird pointless action sequence that's like 78 minutes long.
Yeah, where Holka's kind of the inadvertent hero. Like, he does deflect some fire from them.
Holka's a badass.
Now, that the barrel of his M16 went right through the fence, and they cut it pretty quickly because it would have been clumsy for him to...
Yeah, because the action isn't clumsy. Yeah. Bill Murray just tripping these soldiers that are running around the corner.
And I love that if it's not like the Soviets, if it's one of the others like the Czechs, they're just wimps. You can just kick them. A girl can kick them, and they just collapse.
Right.
Right in the balls, in the face. He's out. That's it. For him, the Cold War is over.
Yes.
No, the Cold War has just begun.
And then they come back to the States to a hero's welcome. They've got medals, and
it's a happy ending. Just
and
like
several of them wind up on magazine covers.
Yes. My favorite was Ox's.
Yeah.
With
what happens.
Win a day. It was like, what was it like?
Win a date with Ox.
Yeah, like Teen Idol or something. Win a date with
Tiger
Ox.
Beat.
Tiger Beat. Yeah. Does Tiger Beat still exist?
I haven't bought one in 5 or 6 years.
I know it has been a while. Yeah, my subscription finally ran out. We get to see.
Yeah, they come back. They're big damn heroes. It's exciting.
John Larroquette gets
they
promoted.
caused the problem and then solved it, but they come back as heroes.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, they fixed the problem they created.
Yeah.
John Larroquette is demoted to lieutenant, and
he's sent to Siberia.
Yes, I promised myself I'd not cry.
I forget to bring back EM50.
So everybody gets their comeuppance, and the guys are with the girls, and people graduate, and everything's got a happy ending.
And then John Candy, of course, has to teach his new company There she was,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
walking down the street. So that comes full circle at the very least.
And that's the movie.
Yeah.
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 So I guess what we have to do, I'm a straight 5 for Alf to Seinfeld. Mr. Brown has to tell us why he picked this movie, and then you two have to go Alf to Seinfeld.
Well, first and foremost, as a young person who saw this, we loved this as high school kids. We just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And so I wanted to see if Hindsight was in fact horrifying, because I remembered how much I liked it. And I got to tell you, I still liked it. And the fact that I learned that there was a whole section that had been cut out.
Imagine finding that out.
I
mean, it's great.
This movie's from 1981.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. And
In
I
a
learned
galaxy
something
far,
new.
far. This predates Darth Vader, you guys.
I mean, imagine if there was another 20 minutes of Ghostbusters that you had just never even heard of before.
I want there to be about Peck. I want that to be his section of the
Dickless.
movie. Where no, but then like suddenly he's the hero of Ghostbusters instead of the villain, and it just turns your whole worldview around. On
What a
Peck.
twist.
What a twist.
But I was just shocked and amazed that Darth had never seen it. So I said, well, we got to watch it.
Yes,
And then now she is a better person. I'm a better person. I'm giving it a 7.
See, he has to say that because he knows I'm not going to say it out loud.
I know. I'm saying it for her.
I am going to give it a 5 because I've seen the movie so many times.
It is what it is, sort of
that
a
it's sort of
situation.
like, yeah, it's Stripes. I've seen it. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at a 5.
I have a greater depth of understanding than I did before, because when I saw this the first time, I did not live in New York City.
You can just say New York.
God damn it.
Here it comes. So when I was looking
I
at
haven't
this,
seen
when I
you
was
for a
looking at-
while.
when I was looking at the taxi scene, I'm like, okay, where are they? Where are they? I'm looking for the skyline. I'm looking for anything. It turns out it was shot in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't recognize the skyline.
Right.
I think we may have passed it, but there's a scene where a bunch of barrels get knocked over, and I don't think they were supposed to get knocked over because
Tiptoe Gang.
I think it's coming up right here. They hide the gang hide
It's very
behind
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, they hide behind a bunch of barrels, and
From
then-
a tank.
from a tank. Yeah, but it's a check tank. It's not very good. It can't shoot through wood.
It's
But
a paper tank.
They hide them behind the barrels. And I don't think whenever they got up, they were supposed to knock the barrels down, because you can clearly see that the insides of the barrels are perfectly clean copper that have never, and they're obviously
Never seen oil
They've
ever.
been painted to
Well, they
make them
came
look
kind
distressed.
of frighteningly close to the actors.
Yes,
Actually, when see, look, sticks.
Yeah, look, see, look.
Holy
Yeah,
cow, you're
maybe
right.
that wasn't acting. Maybe that was them just getting the hell out of
It
the
might
way.
have
because
been a survival instinct.
kind of like what was his name in Phantom of the Paradise?
Right.
Yeah, you knew exactly where I was going with that. He had to get
Yeah.
out of that record press,
Or
or else he was going to die.
Squished his brain.
Precisely. So no acting required, I suppose, just survival instinct. But the last call out that was apparently wildly incorrect was when we talked about it already, when they were firing the mortar and Holka falls off the tower. Josh claims that scene was incredibly fake because nobody was so much as flinching when they were firing.
Well,
he was like, there
yeah.
would have at least been like some shoulder tightening or something, because that is deafeningly loud.
Well, it's a comedy. It's a,
Comedy hides a myriad of sins. No,
Yeah.
I'll just say those are all the notes that I have from the actual army guy
Yeah.
from whom I stole this shirt. So.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Thank
Well,
you.
and it's also
I did some research.
and you can always it's one of those movies where you can always tell it's have an explosion on one side of the frame, and then way away have a guy press a button, then a poof of smoke comes up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a
was
5,
Stripes.
a 7, and a 5.
And a 5, yeah.
So you at home do the math and
Get back to
comment
us.
to us what those numbers average out to.
So, the poor Hulk. Oh, and he has his, I'm getting too old for this shit moment, where he literally says, I'm getting too old for this shit. So you got to love that for Mr. Glover.
And he died suddenly a year after this
Yeah.
film was made.
Yeah.
It was sad. He was
Aw.
53 years old.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
53.
That's
That's a youngin' right
Yeah.
there. Poor guy.
and on that terrible disappointment,
Yeah, on that mortar
it's
shell.
time to end.
Yes.
So, Hindsighters, thank you for joining us after this brief hiatus. Mr. Brown has been traveling the world, and he's just too cool to hang out with us anymore, I guess.
Next
so,
week, he's going off to a faraway land called
Oh,
Canada.
Good eye. No, that's Australian. I've been practicing my Canadian accent.
You're going to
Good
do
eye.
just fine.
What was that about? Anyway, thank you for joining us.
Shove
for your
off, hoser.
for your drive time, your listening time, your do-a-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do time. We don't care what time. We just appreciate you tuning in. So thanks for joining us, Hindsighters. This has been Darth, Adam, and Jason with Stripes and Hindsight. And good night.